Hello, good morning. Most teachers are from Vietnam, but I know that some teachers are from Cambodia and Thailand. Anyone from Guatemala? I got a message this morning from Guatemala. They want to join the webinar. So I said, yes, yeah, please. Everyone is welcome. Okay, now it's time to start. What's the title of today's webinar? What's the title? Making your phonics class fun and effective, right? Making your phonics class fun and effective. Okay. And I have done a lot of training on phonics all around the world, right? And I've visited Vietnam and many countries, to do phonics training. And I always get some questions from the teachers. So today, I'd like to look at those questions together with you. And by finding answers to those questions, maybe we can get to the conclusion how to make your class fun and effective, how to make your phonics class fun and effective. Yeah? Do you think it's a good idea? Yeah? Okay, let's do that. So I have some questions here. Oops, sorry. Before we get to the questions, let's look at this. Why phonics is important, right? Phonics helps students connect sounds to letters. We are connecting sounds to letters, right? And phonics builds the foundation for reading. And phonics supports confidence and independence. Okay, look at this flower. These are the 5 components of reading. And do you see phonics here? Phonemic awareness? Yeah, phonemic awareness is like phonics, but without the letters. It's just the sound. And phonics is letters and sound. Okay, so phonics is one of the 5 components of reading. That's why phonics is important, right? If you look at this big word, hippopotamus, right? Imagine your student, maybe they are 7-year-old, 8-year-old, right? They look at this big word, how they feel. They're just beginner students, right? They might feel scared. Oh, wow, look at this word. It's very long, right? I don't know this word. But if you have the phonics skill, then you try to read the word, right? Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, right? They'll try to read the word using their phonics skills, using their phonics knowledge, right? And when they can read the word, they'll feel good. Wow, I can read this big word, right? They're not scared anymore, right? This is the reason why we teach phonics, right? Okay, that's great. Now, problems and questions. So these are the questions that I get from teachers when I do training. Okay, maybe you have some questions too, right? Maybe you have the same questions. Maybe you have different questions. You can type your questions on the chat box or Q&A box. So maybe we can look at those questions together later on if you have some different questions, right? So let's look at these questions. Number 1, my pronunciation is not good. Can I teach phonics? A lot of teachers ask me this question, right? Do you have this question too? Yeah, you do? Okay. Let me just finish the poll now. Okay. Now, number 2, my students don't know the alphabet. Should I teach A, B, C, D first? Do you have this question? A lot of teachers ask me this question, right? Number 3, my students are bored. What can I do? Again, many teachers ask me, right? That's why we are doing this session today. We want to make phonics fun, right? Number 4, I teach phonics, but my students can read. Do you have this question? Do you feel the same way? Yeah, some of you do. Number 5, after phonics, what do I teach? Again, a lot of teachers ask me this question. Okay, so I picked the 5 most frequently asked questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have all these questions. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the answers, right? Let's find out the answers to these questions together. Then I'm sure we can get to the conclusion how we can make our phonics class fun, easy, and effective. Okay? Now let's look at question number 1. My pronunciation is not good. Can I teach phonics? Some teachers said yes to this question. You have the same question, right? What's my answer? Yes, you can, right? Yes, you can teach phonics. Don't worry too much about your pronunciation. Okay, you relieved some teachers? Yes. Teachers need clear and consistent sounds, not perfect pronunciation. What's the perfect pronunciation? Nobody's perfect with pronunciation. Even native speakers, they have different pronunciations. They have their own accent. So there is no such thing as perfect pronunciation, right? So don't worry too much about your pronunciation, but you have to remember, you have to make it clear and consistent and use support. Use audio models, use songs and chant, and use AI. These days, you can get help from AI. It's very easy. And we have some AI apps for you, right? So we are going to look at that together, right? So you don't need perfect English. You need clear sound models, right? That's my answer. Okay, do you agree with that? Let's look at some of the audio support that we provide, right? This is from Speed Phonics. I put a little image of the book down here so that you can refer back to the books, right? If you like the books, maybe you can have a look at them later. Okay, so this is from Speed Phonics, and let's look at the audio, right? Let's listen to the audio together. We provide a lot of audio support. There are many ways of using the audio, right? We want to make it easy and easy for teachers, right, to access the audio files. Let's go to the ebook. Okay. Oops, sorry, this is okay, this is not what I want, sorry. Let me let me check. Oh, this is Smart Phonics. It's okay. Well, we can still use Smart Phonics for this. I was going to use Speed Phonics, but it's okay. We can use this one. Or we can find Speed Phonics. Do you see eSmart Class? This is our platform. And you can use ebooks from our platform. This is eSmart Class, right? Let's look at Speed Phonics ebook. Okay, so this is book 1, and let's look at some audio examples, right? So here we have the audio buttons here. So if you use ebook in your class to teach your class, it's very easy because you can just access the audio file from here, right? Let's listen and repeat.
Track 2. Listen and repeat.
Ant. Ant. Apple.
Apple.
Bag. Bat.
Okay, so you can hear the audio, right? Yeah, so the pronunciation is given to you. You can just use the audio right from here. Play the audio and repeat with your students. You can repeat too, right? And you can check your pronunciation. So use the audio, right? That's my advice, right? And use songs and chant. So let's do some chant together, okay? While we are on Speed Phonics. Here we have the chant. Okay, so let's chant together. Okay, this is very easy. Single letter sound.
Hi, everybody. It's time to review single letter sounds.
Apple, ant, book, bag, cap, cat, dog, duck,
Okay, are you enjoying the chant? Yeah? Okay, I hope you do. Yeah, you can do the actions too, right? Apple, ant, right? You can do the actions with your students. Yeah, okay. And while you are doing that, you can listen and repeat the sound, right? The pronunciation. And you can check your pronunciation too. And you can improve your own pronunciation too, right? So please use the audio. That's my advice. And let's go back to my slide. And this is how we provide the audio files, right? To give you easy access, you can use the audio streaming, right? If you look at the front of our books, there's a QR code for audio. So you can just scan and play the audio from there. So use the QR code for audio streaming. It's just like listening to music on Spotify, right? And you can use the ebook. I just showed you how you can use the audio from ebook. And you can also use app, right? If you download the app, we have all the audio tracks included on the app. So you can use the audio from there, or you can download MP3 files, right? From our website or from our platform or from the audio streaming QR code. Okay, so there are many ways of accessing the audio, right? So we have many options for you, right? So you can just choose whichever is easier for you. Okay, and now let's look at the AI app. Okay, so on some of for some of our books, we provide AI practice, and for Smart Phonics, we have AI Andy, right? So I'll show you the video. Of this. Okay, see if I can get the video. Okay, do you see the video?
Let's practice phonics.
Okay, so what you can do is you can listen, repeat, and record your voice. Then AI will analyze your voice, right? And then it will give you feedback, right? If it's good or, if you have to try again, right? So let's see the video.
Let's listen and repeat. Ah, ah, apple.
Apple.
Okay, so I just recorded my voice.
Well done.
Well done. So AI says, well done. So my pronunciation must be very good. Okay, so you will get different feedback. Well done. Oh, you cannot see the video? You didn't see the video? Sorry. Maybe I have to share this video. Hang on a minute. Let me do that. Okay, here. Do you see the video now? Yeah? Okay, so here we are. Let's watch the video one more time. Sorry.
Let's practice phonics. Let's listen and repeat. Ah, ah, apple.
Apple.
Well done.
Okay, now did you see the video? Yes? Okay, so this is how AI works, right? You record your voice and then AI will analyze your pronunciation and it will give you the feedback. Okay, so students can do this at home, right? Or you can do this in class, right? Or you can do it by yourself if you want to check your own pronunciation, right? We have other fluency practice using AI. Let me introduce this to you. Okay, this one. So we have new AI practice, fluency practice for our books, like Discovery, Hand in Hand, and English Wave. Okay, you can scan the QR code. Oops. You can scan this QR code and you can try, right? This is like a trial access code, right? So when you read, you can record your voice, right? And you can get the report from AI like this. So your overall score is 93%, depending on the fluency, right? Your speed, pronunciation, and intonation and accuracy. So you get the score and your word per minute, this is the speed, right? Your word per minute is 187. And you can also get the analysis like this. So green is perfect, perfect pronunciation. Yellow is good, right? It's good, but you can still improve, right? And red is incorrect. Then you practice these words again. Okay, so you get a report like this. I think you should try this, right? Scan this QR code and try it, right? Anyway, we can get help from AI too these days, right? So use the audio and use the AI app, okay? And don't worry too much about your own pronunciation. So this is my tip. Use audio support. We need clear sound models, not perfect English. Okay? Do you feel better? Yeah? Okay, that's good. Now let's move on to the question number 2. My students don't know the alphabet. Should I teach A to Z first? Okay, I think a lot of teachers have this kind of question. And my answer is no, teach sound first. Okay, that's my advice. You don't have to worry about the alphabet, the names of the letters like A, B, C, D, right? Just teach the sound first. That's my advice, right? So teaching letter sound first, k, t, right? But some people argue, some teachers argue that we need to know the names, right? So teaching letter names first, that's like C-A-T, right? Not the sound k and t, but the names, right? So sometimes parents complain, right? My kids doesn't even know the alphabet, right? Some teachers complain. And some schools, they have their own policy. We need to teach the alphabet first, right? If that's the case, then you can use balanced strategy, right? Teach together. I mean, it's possible to teach together, right? So let's look at the argument, right? Teaching letter sound first, right? This is the one I recommend. Reading involves decoding sounds, not letter names. So to read the word cat, a child needs to know the sound k, t, not the letter names C-A-T, right? They need to know the sounds. Letter names can be confusing and misleading for young learners because the name of the letter C is C, but the sound is k, so it can be confusing. Let's look at H, right? It's H, but the sound is h, which is very different, right? So it can be confusing for young learners. So teaching sounds first help children focus on the sounds and blending the sounds, right? This is what phonics is about. However, some people will argue, right? They say we should teach the letter names first, the alphabet first. Alphabet knowledge is foundational. Knowing the alphabet is often seen as a cultural and educational milestone, right? Wow, my child can do all the alphabets, right? He or she knows all these alphabets. She can say from A to Z, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, C. So, so parents are very happy when their children do all this alphabet, right? And look at all these toys, right? We often see toys like this. And some people will argue that letter names are consistent. Sounds can vary depending on context. So C is cat, but sometimes it's S, right? So circle, when you do circle, right? The sound is different. However, the letter name C is always C, right? C is C. And some letter names are similar to their sounds. Like for example, B is B, kind of similar, right? M is M, similar. So some people argue that we should teach letter names first. Alphabet supports communication and spelling. So especially when you do spelling, right, you will have to know the letter names, right? C-A-T, right? My name starts with B. My name starts with S, right? People will say the letter names, and this helps them communicate clearly with other people, right? That's why some people argue that we should teach letter names first. Well, some of them, yes, make sense, right? Yeah. However, you can do this two together. So introduce both the name and the sound when you introduce a letter, right? So when you do phonics, you do sound, letters, words, right? But you can also introduce the letter names. You can use games, songs, and chant and stories to practice the phonics targets. But you can also use the alphabet song, right? Children, they sing alphabet song anyway, right? They will hear it everywhere and they will sing it. Yeah. So encourage children to use the sound when reading and the name when talking about letters, right? So you can do two things at the same time. This is something very, very important, this gray box, phonics targets. So when you teach phonics, there are 3 targets, right, that you should focus. You should teach the letter, the sound, and the word that go together, right, with the letter and the sound. So for example, apple. So here we have the letter A, but we have the sound and the word apple. So these 3 things always go together, right, in your phonics class. So please remember this, right? Phonics targets, 3 things. But you can add letter name if you want, right? This is A. And this is A, but sound eh. Okay, you can do it that way. I can show you how you can do this, right? Look, my name is Sue, right? Do you know my name? Look, Sue, right? That's my name. And I say, hi, hi everyone, right? What sound did I just make? What word? Hi, right? That's the sound. But my name is Sue. Okay, now let's look at this. Okay, this is A, right? The name A. Sound eh, eh. Okay, everyone. Name A. Sound eh. Okay, so if you want to teach 2 things at the same time, you can do it this way, right? Name and the sound. Okay, are you clear? But it can be confusing for little kids, right? Yeah, yeah. But once they understand, which is name and which is sound, then it'll be okay, right? So if you want to do 2 things at the same time, you can do it this way. However, my recommendation is sounds first, right? We do have ABC book, right? If you want to practice the alphabet, you can use these books, right? We have Little Hands ABC book or Smart ABC book. And we also have video of the alphabet song. Maybe we can sing it together, right? When is the last time you sang the ABC song? Okay, do you see the video? Yes, you see the video? Okay, then we can sing the alphabet song together. Okay, let's go, everyone.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Okay, very good, right? So what I do is I usually teach the sounds first, right? And then play ABC song, right? So that students can get used to the letter names too, right? And we also provide video for the writing practice. So you can do tracing together with your students.
A,
A, right? This is A, but what sound? A. Okay. You have to be careful if your native language uses the Latin Roman alphabet, like Vietnamese or Spanish, right? You do use the alphabet, right? So some teachers say that, oh, we don't need to learn phonics. We know the letters already. We use the alphabet, right? Many teachers have told me like that. However, phonics is different. It's not only about learning the letter names, right? You do the letter and the sound, right? And the pronunciation of the letters are often quite different from English. And the letter names are not pronounced the same as in English, right? So you have to be careful, right? So this is my answer to the question number 2. Teach sound first, right? However, if you have to teach the letter names, then teach sound and letter names together, right? Not letter names first, right? We don't have time for that, right? We just cannot wait until our students learn all these letter names from A to Z, right? And it's more effective to do the sound. Okay? Now, oh yeah, someone asked me to do some actions with the ABC song. I'm sure teachers are very good with that, right? You can make the letter shapes, right? While you are teaching, while you are singing the ABC song. Okay, let's move on to question number 3. Okay, my students are bored. What can I do? Right? This is probably the biggest question, right? Biggest problem, right? My answer, find out why and make it fun. You have to find out why. Why are your students bored? What's the reason? Okay, I can guess some reasons, right? Maybe too much repetition, right? Often this can be very, very boring. Mechanical drill, right? Teachers will say, okay, everyone, repeat after me. Apple, apple, book, book, right? If you do it mechanically like that, then it's very boring, right? Too much repetition. So you should do the repetition. However, you should do it in a fun way, maybe using games and activities, songs and chant, right? Another reason is that maybe it's too difficult, right? Maybe your students are not following you. That's why they are bored. They don't understand, right? Could be because you have too many targets, right? Or maybe you are paying too much attention to rules, right? Try to teach the rules, right? Then it can be very difficult and students will be bored. Okay, so rather than doing this, right, try to follow the logical sequence. There is a sequence that you can follow with phonics. And try to focus on essential targets, the useful targets, the most useful words, and the essential sounds, right? Don't try to teach too many things, right? Focus on the essential ones. And do a lot of games and activities, songs and chant, and stories, right? So let's do this together. So this is the phonics sequence, which is the most logical for EFL students, right? So there are 5 stages. You can start with single letters, right? Apple, book. And then you move on to short vowels. But you have to make sure the students learn all the single letters before moving on to combining single letters, right, with short vowels. So this is the second stage, right? You combine the vowel and the consonant, and then add another consonant, right? So cat. And then the third stage is long vowels, right? And then double letter consonants, and then double letter vowels. Okay, so this is very logical if you follow this sequence. Right? However, phonics programs, especially the ones that are developed for native children, don't follow this sequence, right? They mix the targets and they have different sequence, right? They jump around. So that's why it's very difficult for EFL students, right? For our students. So try to follow the logical sequence and then try to have the most essential targets. Okay, don't mix the targets. So in future, we have 5 different phonics series. Another question a lot of teachers ask, why do you have so many different phonics programs, right? As you can see, Smart Phonics and EFL Phonics have 5 levels, right? Just like the sequence. Remember the sequence that I just showed you, right? So each book has each stage, right? So that's like a basic program. And then we have Speed Phonics, School Phonics, and Little Phonics, okay? And if you look at the targets, Speed Phonics, there are 3 books. And as you can guess from the name, right, Speed Phonics. If you want to do phonics in a speedy way, then you can use Speed Phonics because there are only 3 books. However, the phonics targets are still there. We just combined book 1 and 2 from Smart Phonics and EFL Phonics, right? And we made Speed Phonics book 1. Okay, and book 2 and 3, we divide book 4 into 2 parts. We combine the first half with book 3, and we combine the second half with book 5, right? That's how we have 3 books for Speed Phonics, right? School Phonics, there are 4 books. And as you can see, we combined book 3 and book 4 to make book 3, right? So we combined and split to make these different phonics books. However, the sequence is still the same, and the phonics targets are all there, right? So it's very systematic. And if you look at Little Phonics, this is for very young children, maybe kindergarten, right? There are 4 books. However, if you look at the level, it only goes up to book 1 and book 2, right? So when you finish Little Phonics, you can move on to School Phonics book 3, or Speed Phonics book 2, or EFL Phonics and Smart Phonics book 3, right? So you can mix and match because we follow the same sequence and we include all the phonics targets, right? The reason for doing this is we want to give more options to teachers, right? Because we have different components and teachers have different needs. Some teachers prefer to have, to finish phonics quickly, then they can use Speed Phonics. Some teachers prefer to have 4 books because they can use 2 books in 6 months and 2 books in 6 months, or something like that, right? Depending on their school curriculum, right? However, the most basic ones are Smart Phonics and EFL Phonics, right? Okay, and in all our series, we include a lot of games and activities. Okay, as you can see, the books are full of games and activities. And we also have digital games on the mobile app, and we also have digital games on ebook. Okay, this is from EFL Phonics. Okay, and yeah, let's look at some of the games. So this game is from Smart Phonics. It's a board game, right? I think I have a video for this. Yeah, let's watch the video. Okay, do you see the video? Yeah? Okay, good.
Violin.
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 Okay, very good. Now my turn. Yeah. Yo-yo. Yeah. Yo-yo. Oh, I have to go down. Okay, I have to go down. Okay.
Map.
Map. Okay, let's stop the video. Okay. Okay, so I made videos for some of these games that are included in the book, right? So when you go to YouTube, right, just search eFuture, then you get to eFuture YouTube channel, right? So we have all these videos, right, for the games included in the book. And also we have flashcard games, right? Videos for flashcard games. I made all these videos, right? So you can watch them. Yeah, just go to eFuture YouTube channel, then you'll find these videos, right? Just search phonics games. Okay. So let's do some games together, right? Actually, maybe I can, yeah. Yeah. You can find the games on YouTube channel, right? Okay, so let's play some of the games today. So here I have a lot of flashcards, right? So this is a flashcard game. I put a lot of flashcard here because this is for you, right? For teachers to play. But when you are doing this game with your students, you can reduce the number of flashcards, right? To make it easy, right? And if your students are okay, then you can increase the number of flashcards. But this is for you, right? So listen and touch. Listen and point and slam, or they are all very similar games. So you listen and touch. Maybe you can touch the screen, or you can you can point to the flashcards on the screen. Yeah, so listen and point. Everyone, listen very carefully. Are you ready? Ant. Ant. Okay, are you pointing or touching? Yeah, I hope you are, right? I'll make it a little bit more difficult, right? Ant, octopus. Ant, octopus. Okay, are you listening and touching and repeating? Yes? I hope you are. Okay, good. Now, I'll make it more difficult, right? Fish, lion, gorilla. Can you do 3 pairs? Yeah? Okay, so you can do it this way, or you can do it like this too, right? Ant. Then you go, ant. So do the chant while you are pointing the cards, right? You can use the actual flashcards. You can spread them on the table so students can actually touch the card while they are doing the chant, right? T, tiger, lion. Tiger, lion. Okay? Yeah, that's good. So very simple, right? I think I have a video of slam. Let me check. Slam is just like this one, right? No, actually, no, sorry. No, I don't have the video, but you can search later, right? Go to eFuture YouTube, right? I have another game right in the bag. Look, this is my bag, right? I have something in my bag. Let's find out what I have. Oh, what's this? Do you see it? What's this? Yeah, it's an apple. Very good. Apple, right? What is it? It's an apple. A apple. What sound? A. A apple. A apple. What else do I have in my bag? I have, what's this? Did you see? Yeah, it's a book, right? It's a book. Very good. It's a book. Book, 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 book. Okay, so you can use the real objects to introduce the phonics targets, right? And you can use a bag or you can use a box, right? You can put the card in the box, you can put the card in the bag, right? Or you can put the card behind the question mark, right? And try to guess what it is, right? What else do I have in my bag? I have, did you see? Yeah? What is it? This way. It's a bed. I have a bed in my bag, right? Book, bed. Book, bed. What sound? Book. Okay, very good. That's good. Okay. So this is just a simple game you can do with your students, right? Okay, good. Now let's go back to my slide. Okay. So a lot of flashcard games on YouTube, right? So please check out the videos. So by doing these games, what do? You repeat, right? Your students will be repeating many times. It's a lot of practice. However, it's not like a mechanical drill, right? Students are having fun while they are practicing the sounds and the letters, right? Now let's try blending, okay? This is from School Phonics, so let's look at the ebook, right? So what we do here is we do t together, at, okay? And then we go b at bat, k at cat, h at hat, m at mat. Okay, so don't try to teach the rules. Some teachers try to teach the rule, right? Do you think your students can understand that? Here's the vowel and here's the consonant, and you put them together to have vowel and consonant combination, right? And then you add another consonant, right? If you explain this like that, your students don't understand and they'll get bored because they don't understand, right? Rather than doing it like that, rather than explaining the rule, you just show how you can do it, right? So using flashcard maybe, right? At, to, at, right? You show how the sounds are combined using flashcards, right? So what sound, everyone? At, right? And look at this. K, at, k, at, k, at, cat. Okay? K, at, k, at, hat. Okay, you can combine the sounds like that, right? You don't have to explain anything, just show and do it together with your students. Okay, now let's look at the chant. Where's the chant? Hang on. I have too many things on my, okay. Okay, get it. Okay. Now here we are. Okay, I'm going back to Eastman class, right? Let's look at school phonics. So here is school phonics. Let's go to short vowels to see the combination, and also we can do the chant together, and we can do some stories as well. Okay, do you see the ebook? Yes. Let's go to this. Okay, remember this page, right? We just looked at this. Yeah? Yes? Okay, here we are. Let's do this together, right? Remember sound, right? The audio is important. So you can do the audio together with your students.
Track 5. Listen, point, and repeat.
At,
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 b, at, bat,
b, at,
k,
bat,
at, cat,
k, at, cat.
h,
Okay, so you can go through this, and you can remember, you can use the flashcards to actually show the blending of the sound, right? And then you can do the chant. So let's do this chant together. Okay, ready to do another chant? Okay, do you see the chant, the video? Yes?
Everybody get ready! Let's chant! An, k and can, f and fan. M and man, p and pan. Can fan, man pan.
At, b, at bat, k, at cat. At hat, m, at mat. Bat cat, hat mat.
Excellent!
Excellent. Okay, did you do the chant? Right, it's easy, right? You can easily follow, right? Okay, good. That's good. So this is fun, right? It's not mechanical, right? You can have fun. You can watch the video. You can do it together with your students. You can do the actions, right? You can clap, right? So this is fun. Now let's do the story, right? We have a phonics story in each unit. In all our phonics books, because stories are important, right? So after doing all that combination, the blending of the sounds, you can read this story, right? Let's look at the picture first, right? What do you see here? What do you see? Do you see the cat? Yeah? Is the cat happy? No, the cat doesn't look very happy, right? No, maybe it's very hot, right? What's the weather like? Yeah, what's the weather like? I think it's very sunny, right? Very hot. The cat is sweating. What does the cat have? The cat has a can, yeah? And now look at the man. Does the man look happy? Yeah, I think the man is happy, right? Yeah, why? Look at this, what's this? It's a fan, right? The man is not hot because he has a fan. He's nice and cool, right? Yeah. Now let's look at this. What's happening here? The cat looks happy, right? The man is happy, right? Because they have the fan. They're sharing the fan together, right? Yeah, it's a happy story, right? Do you like the story? Yes, it's a nice story. Now let's watch the video, okay? You can repeat if you want.
See the cat. The cat has a can.
Cat has a can.
See the man. The man has a fan. Ah. See the cat. The cat likes the man and the fan.
Okay. Did you like the story? Yeah, it's a very nice story, right? Okay. And with the story, you can act out the story, right? It's always fun to act out the story, right? So what's this? It's a cat. What's this? It's a man. What's this? It's a fan. And what's this? It's a can, right? So you can practice the words and the sound together, right? And then you can act out the story, right? See the cat. The cat has a fan. See the man. The man has a fan. See the cat. The cat likes the man and the fan. Right? So you can use the flashcards to retell the story. Okay? And you can also act out the story. Right? You can use the real objects. See the can. Right? The cat has the can. Right? This is not beer, this is coffee, right? Double shot. Okay, so you can use the real object too. And you can change the story, right? See the cat. The cat has an apple. See the cat. The cat has a book. Okay, you can change the story too. Yeah? Okay, so you can have a lot of fun with the story, right? So be creative and do lots of activities with the story, right? Retelling, acting out, and changing the story, right? That's all very fun. And you are repeating a lot, right? It's a lot of repetition. However, it's not boring, it's fun, right? Are you having fun? Is this fun? Yeah? Yes, you are having fun, right? That's great. Imagine your students, they'll have a lot of fun too. Okay, now I have some more activities here. Okay. So we did the chant, we did the story, right? And you can do something like this as well, right? Using the toilet paper roll, you can make the binoculars. And you can go like this, right? See the cat. And you look at the cat. Okay? So now can you all go like this? Right? You have the binoculars. Yeah? Okay. And see the flashcards, right? So here we go. See the cat, right? See the can. See the fan. See the man. Okay, are you doing the action? Yeah, I hope you are. Okay, because we are doing this online, I can never check, right? Now I have the words, right? Let's do this again with the words. Now, are you all doing this? Right? You have to read the words through your binoculars. Yes? Okay, here we go. Man, can. Okay, listen, repeat, and see the word. Okay? Cat. Let's try some other words like mat, tap, pan. Okay, so you can mix some other words as well, right? Okay, that's great. So we look at all the games and, chant and stories, right? So when your students are bored, find out why. Why are they bored? Are you doing too much repetition? Are you introducing too many targets? Are you not following the sequence? So is it too difficult for your students? Right? So try to use fun games, activities, songs, chant, and stories right? Make your lesson more interesting for your students. Okay, that's my advice. Now move on to question number 4. I teach phonics, but my students can't read. Oh, this is very serious, right? You teach phonics, but they cannot read. What can you do? Do you have this kind of experience? Yeah? Okay. So what can you do? My answer, find out why and fix it. So when there is a problem, you have to find out the reason, right? Why they cannot read. Maybe not enough blending practice. So you teach phonics, but maybe you focus too much on single letter sounds and not enough blending practice. So they cannot blend the sounds. Maybe that's the reason. Or maybe not enough story reading, right? In phonics class, we often focus too much on individual sound or individual words, right? Not reading the whole sentence or not reading the story, right? So maybe that's the reason why your students cannot read, right? So maybe you need to do more story reading, sentence reading. Not using phonics skills, right? Although students learn phonics, they don't use the skills that they learn, right? So what can you do in that case? You try nonsense words and see if your students are actually using the phonics skills, right? You can check it that way, right? You can use nonsense words to check. So let's look at this, right? Let's look at from blending first. So we did blending just now, right? Remember the story, right? See the cat has a can. So to do that story, we did the blending already, right? Remember I used this, right? Remember this, right? We did the blending, right? But let's compare two different types of blending. So what I did was this one, right? We blend a to first, right? So at is like, it becomes one sound, at. And then we blend with b at bat, k at cat, h at hat, m at mat, right? But let's look at this one. This one is blending 3 different sounds, right? B at bat, k at cat, h at hat, m at mat. Of course, you can do it this way, right? Nothing wrong with this way. However, which is easier for your students? Think about that, right? Which way is easier? I think this way is easier because once you learn at, right, you just change the front, the beginning, right? Put at bat, k at cat. So this is the way we do in our phonics books, in eFuture phonics books. This is the way we do, right? However, in some other phonics books, they do it this way. So maybe if you try the easier way, your students might remember more, remember better, right? Learn the skills better. So you can think about this and you can try. Let's look at this one. This is long vowels. Okay, so when you do blending for long vowels, this is the way we do it, right? On the right-hand side. K, egg, cake. B, egg, bake. R, egg, rake. L, egg, lake. Okay, just like this, right? Same way. We just change the beginning. However, in some other phonics books or phonics programs, they do it this way. Tap, tape, cap, cape. You can still learn the rule and the pattern, right? You can see that there's E there and then the sound changes, right? You can do it that way. However, students don't really know what tap is, right? What cap is, what tape is, what cape is. So it might be a little bit too abstract for students, right? You can still do it this way. However, I think this way is much easier for students, right? You can think about it and you can try with your students and find out, right? So this is eFuture way of doing blending, okay? And this is when students learn egg cake, egg bake, they can read take and make too, right? These two are unknown words for students, but they can read because it follows the same pattern. Same for this one. For this, sorry. For this one as well, right? Set, read. So these are unknown words for our students, but they can read because they can use this rule. Yeah. So let's look at this. Reading phonics stories, right? So you can check the blending, right? When students cannot read, right? Even though you teach phonics, maybe you can check the blending, right? And you can also do more story reading. Practice phonics skills, sight words, and reading skills by reading phonics stories. Practice reading sentences, not just words. When you read story, you have to read a sentence, right? Not just words. You can focus on meaning because stories provide context. And you can improve reading comprehension and fluency by reading stories. And you can help your students discover joy of reading. Right? This is the most important thing, I think. Students will feel, right? I do phonics, right? But I can read a story and I understand the story and I enjoy the story, right? That's a good feeling, right? Your students can have. They can enjoy reading English stories, right? So we provide phonics story in each unit in all our phonics books. However, we also provide readers, okay? For school phonics, we include readers inside student book, okay? So you can do readers, more practice with reading. And this is one of the story from school phonics. This is one of my favorite stories, right? Look at the picture first, all right? What's happening here, right? What's the weather like? It's very cold, right? Do you see the snow and the wind? Yeah. And what's the seal doing? The seal is jumping into the water. Wow. And look at the mom. Does the mom look happy? No, I don't think so, right? And let's read the story, right? So here we are practicing double letter vowels, right? You can see A-I, E-A, A-Y, right? Okay, so let's, in school phonics, we include readers, right? And there are 3 stories in each school phonics book. So let's go to school phonics book 3. School phonics, here we are. Okay, we want to go to school phonics book. Not this one. Hang on, let me get school phonics book 3. Okay, here we are. Do you see school phonics book 3? Yes? Okay, let's go to the readers. Okay, here we are. Oh, sorry, it's not book 3. Was it book 4? Sorry. Sorry, my mistake. It was book 4. Sorry. Let's go to book 4. Yeah, this one. Okay. Now we have book 4, right? And we can go to readers. And let's look at a blue coat, right? This is my favorite story. So we have to do this one, right? A blue coat. Do you see blue coat here? Yeah. Let's find out what happens.
A blue coat.
Daisy is a seal. She likes to play in the snowy sea.
It's cold today. Take this coat.
Huh? Mom, I don't like that blue coat.
Daisy, you need a coat.
Daisy takes the blue coat and jumps into the sea.
Hmm.
Daisy meets a starfish.
Oh, I like your yellow coat.
Daisy meets 3 fish.
Huh? Oh, I like your green coats.
Uh-oh, Daisy sees a gray shark. She puts on her blue coat. Yes, the shark doesn't see Daisy.
I love my blue coat.
Okay. Did you enjoy the story? Such a nice story, right? I love this story. Yeah. Imagine your students watching this video, right? And they will they'll listen, repeat, and read the story, right? Many times. They can act out the story. Someone asked me a question just now, right? So before you do the story, you should look at the pictures together, right? Talk about the picture, right? To provide some background knowledge, right? And then you listen and repeat, right? And you read together and you watch the video and you repeat after, right? The audio from the video and then you can act out the story. You can use flashcards. You can do all these activities with your students, right? So yeah, you can have a lot of fun, right? Yeah. You know why this is one of my favorite story, right? Yeah. Okay, so this story is provided, the readers are provided inside student book for school phonics. But we also have some other readers, like phonics fun readers, right? So there are readers that you can use together with our phonics books, right? Or you can use them separately, right? So use it together or use it separately. It's up to you. And as you can see with all this story, here are the phonics targets that you can practice, right? And there are 5 levels. Remember the sequence, right? There are 5 levels. This is a story from Phonics Fun Readers, right? Very cute pictures, right? Children will love this. And there are some activities as well that you can do, right? After reading the story. And we have another reader series. This is Smart Phonics Readers. Again, 5 levels, right? Remember the sequence, right? And these are the phonics targets that you can practice while reading the story. This is another one of my favorite stories, but I don't think we have time to watch the video, right? But yeah, you can read the story and you can do activities, right? And let's go to nonsense words, right? Remember nonsense words? So you can use nonsense words to check if your students are using the phonics skills that they learn. Okay, students can apply phonics rules to read new words. So these are new words to your students because they haven't learned these words before. And some words are nonsense words, right? Because GAT, right? Good at get. That's a nonsense word, right? But students can still read because they have the skill to read k at cat, h at hat. They can read s at sat, g at get, f at fat, t at TED, right? So if they can read these nonsense words, that means they are using the skill, right, that they learned from reading these words, the real words, the words that they learned. Okay. This is some examples from Australia phonics screening check. So in Australia, they do this kind of phonics screening. It's like a test, right? So they do this for grade 1 student. Okay, and as you can see, they have both nonsense words and real words, right? To check if the students are using the skill, phonics skill, to read these nonsense words, right? Let's read these nonsense words together. See if you can read them. See if you are using your phonics skills, right? Let's read. The first one, sham, plust, top, zum, right? We can read all these words. We are using our phonics skill, right? And you can use something like this, right? This is phonics builders. And I'm going to show it to you in a minute to practice reading, practice blending the sounds and also reading nonsense words. Okay, so let's go back to our question. If your students cannot read, practice blending and read more stories and try nonsense words. See if your students are using the phonics skills that they learn. Okay, now our last question. After phonics, what do I teach? Before we move on, I think I better show you this, right? So this is phonics builder. So you can flip this, right? Let's read it together, everyone. What sound? Eh. And you can do this. Can you read? Ab. Ab. And then you add another one. Ab, bab. Okay, so you can try different vowels like that. You can change this, right? So students can practice reading nonsense words and practice combining the sound, right? So that's phonics builder. Now let's go to our last question. Okay, after phonics, what do I teach? Once I visited a school. They are teaching phonics for 3 years. Just phonics, nothing else, for 3 years. Right? Can you imagine? Teaching phonics for 3 years, nothing else, right? The teacher was asking me, what do I teach next? So here's my suggestion. Okay, so here, expand into other skills. That's my answer, right? And actually, you don't need to wait until you finish phonics. Remember the phonics sequence, the 5 stages, right? It's okay to finish all these 5 stages and move on to another skill. It's okay, you can do that, right? But you can start expanding into other skills once you finish stage 2, right? Or from the beginning, you can do speaking together with phonics. It's okay, you can do that, right? Stage 1 is very important because you have to learn all the single letter sounds, right? And stage 2, again, very, very important. Probably the most important stage when you teach phonics because you are blending the sound, right? Students will learn the skills, how to blend the sounds. So these 2 stages are very important. And when they can do this, right, then you can continue with your phonics or you can expand into other skills. or you can do both at the same time, right? You can continue with phonics, and at the same time, you can expand into other skills like reading, vocabulary, grammar, listening, speaking, and writing, right? You can do these different skills. So let's go back to the components of reading. Remember this flower, right? We started with this flower, right? So we did phonics, right? That's like 5 components of reading, one of the 5 components of reading. So phonemic awareness, phonics, and then you can do comprehension and fluency by moving on to further reading practice. You can use reading skill books. You can use graded readers, right? So these are the reading skill books: Smart Reading, Discovery, and My Phonics Reading. And these are the graded readers, right? Classic readers and comic readers. So you can move on to these other reading books. So if you look at the reading skill books, this is the layout, right? Usually reading skill books follow this kind of layout. You have the key vocabulary and you have the reading story, right? With some pictures to help you understand the story, right? And there will be some activities. And this will follow pre-reading, during reading, and after reading, right? So after reading the story, you can do comprehension check and you can practice more word, you can practice grammar and things like that. So this is from Smart Reading, okay? And this one is from Discovery. Discovery is all nonfiction, right? If you want to do some nonfiction reading, then you can choose Discovery, right? As you can see, the topics are the same as this, right? My family. This is my family. This is my mom. This is my dad, right? If you compare the fiction with the nonfiction story, who is this? This is a family. She's a mom. He's a dad, right? You can see the different perspective, right? But again, good practice, right, for reading. This is my phonics reading. If you are worried about your students' phonics skill, right, but you want to move on to the next level of reading, then maybe you can use my phonics reading, because this is a reading skill book. However, you can review phonics because it has phonics words, right? Ant, cat. So we are reviewing sound. And you can focus on sight words as well from this book. Okay, so all these other reading books are available for you. So you can just expand into these higher level reading. We have all these different levels from elementary to secondary level, right? Smart Reading, Discovery, and then Reading Town. The level goes up to B2. And you can do graded readers too, right? You can read some classic stories, or you can read comic readers, right? Comic readers are good if your students don't really want to read, right? Because they like reading comics, right? These days, some students are not interested in reading, but by reading comic readers, maybe they can, get more involved in the story. I have a video for the classic readers. I'm not sure if I have enough time for this. How are we doing? Oh, we still have 10 more minutes. Let's skip this for now, and then maybe I can come back to this. This is a nice story too. We'll come back to this later on, okay, if we have enough time. So we have graded readers from starters level to level 11, right? From pre-A1 to B2C1 level. And yeah, so you can move on to reading skill book or readers, right? Or you can do vocabulary. If you look at the 5 components of reading, one of the components is vocabulary. So maybe you want your students to increase vocabulary level, right? By practicing vocabulary in context and prepare for exam as well, right? Vocabulary is like the foundation, right? So yeah, you can move on to vocabulary practice. But my recommendation is, it's okay, you can do reading or vocabulary, but it's good to do 4-skill course book, right? With basic phonics skill, I think students will be ready for all 4 skills, right? So if you use a course book, then you can do all four skills together. So we have Smart English, Let's Smile, and Hand in Hand. This is for primary course book. And Smart Reading has an AI practice. Remember the AI practice that I showed you earlier? Let's Smile has YLE prep test. So when you finish the book, you can try YLE prep test with your students, Cambridge YLE. And Hand in Hand has both YLE prep test and AI practice. Okay, and Hand in Hand has CLIL with a project book and 21st century skills, right? But if you are looking for something fun and easy conversation practice, then you can use Smart English, right? So yeah, we have all these different books that you can choose from. And this is the level chart, right? You can look at this later. I can share my PPT with you so you can go back to the level chart, right? We also have other skill books like listening skill book, speaking, writing, grammar. You can check out these books from our website. If you go to efuture-elt.com, you can just put the book title here, then you will get to the preview page. You can click this and you can preview one of the units, okay, to check out the books. Okay, so after phonics, expand into other skills, right? Please remember, phonics is not the goal. It's the beginning, right? So don't do phonics for 3 years, right? You can expand into other skills. And these are the summary, right? Please remember, phonics is not about teaching letters. Phonics is about connecting letters and sounds, right? We are combining letters and the sounds. And we are building a foundation for reading. So phonics is about helping students read, understand, and communicate. And phonics supports confidence and independence. With phonics skills, students can read, right, by themselves. They can try to read using their phonics skills. So that will give them confidence and independence. Students will feel good, right, when they can read the story, right? Think about your students reading an English story by themselves, and they can understand and they can have fun, right? Isn't that wonderful? So make your phonics class fun and effective, right? We talked about all these problems and questions today, yeah, right? I hope you get some ideas for making your class fun and effective, right? I provided a lot of tips, right? And answers to some of your questions, right? If you have more questions, you can email me, right? Before that, okay, so here, remember I introduced some phonics books today, and we are giving you 1 month free ebooks for you to explore. Okay, so this is on eSmart class, right? And here's the ID and password. Thank you, Alice, for sharing your ID and password, right? So we put these 4 phonics books there, right? EFL Phonics, Speed Phonics, School Phonics, and Smart Phonics. So please explore these books, right? And you can buy all eFuture books from Bahasa. Someone was asking me earlier about, where can I buy Phonics Builder? Yeah, you can check with Bahasa, right? And all these books, right? Not only phonics, but readers, ABC book, reading skill books, and the course books, right? You can find them out, you can check them out from Bahasa Bookstore. And yeah, as I said before, if you have any questions, right, further questions, you can email me. Okay, you can follow us on our social media to get more information about the webinar today. I mean, like future webinars and teaching tips, activity ideas, right? All those things are on our social media, Facebook and Instagram. And please scan this QR code and complete the survey. You can leave your questions or feedback on the survey, then I can check them later, right? Maybe I can do another session with your questions and problems, right? And you can also get the certificate when you finish the survey, right? So please scan the QR code and complete the survey and get the certificate, right? I think that's all from me today. The timing is perfect. It's 12:28, right? Yeah, so my colleagues are sharing the links, right? So on the chat box. I'll just check quickly if I have any questions that I can answer right now. Because some of you left some questions there. Yeah, as I said before, you can email us the questions and feedback, right? Okay, so thank you very much. That's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed my session. Yeah, and I hope it was useful for you. Yeah, I hope you have some answers to your questions. Yeah, and yeah, have fun with your students in your phonics class, right? Make your phonics class fun and effective. Okay, thank you very much. And see you again, right? Bye, everyone.